Greetings, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Today we're doing a channel check and we're 2 days away from the end of the quarter of perhaps the most important quarter in the history of the company. And so we wanted to get a look around on the parking lot to get a feel for where Tesla is for the quarter. So as you can see, I'm in my car. What we're going to do is take a lap around the facility. What you're going to see first is all the cars on the service side of the building. We're then going to take a look in the storage facility for new cars, and we're then going to pull back over off into this area and have a conversation about what we saw, other news that might be occurring relative to production deliveries. So the other note is that I'm not going to get out of the car today because it's a very windy day. It just started raining. So by being in the car, sound quality is better, but we also limit the wind noise against the mic. And so that's another helpful attribute. So this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks to our Patreon supporters. And we want to thank you guys for joining us. Our background music is Richard Wagner of Germany, died, I believe, in 1873. Apocalypse Now is probably where you heard this music before. So we're going to, without further ado, go on our tour. The first set of cars you're seeing are kind of repair vehicles that are set up in front. For those of you who've joined us in the past, you'll notice that we actually have obviously a lot of cars in the service area. All the cars you're seeing, you'll notice, have license plates on them. And there are 2 rows. I believe we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're like 40 in a row with 2 rows, so that's 80 cars here. Plus they have cars down the middle, as you can see. As you can see, the overabundance is Model 3s that are in the repair process. From what we can see, based on what we had here last year, the number of vehicles in the service area is actually double. One of the other things that's been happening is that because of the COVID shutdown, as you can see, we're still in the repair service area. Because all the cars you see have license plates on them and a red tag, usually, you know they're under repair. So that's kind of what you're seeing right now. I'm going to sort of tilt towards. So this is the back area of the building. Typically, what you have back here are obviously more service vehicles. This is also where you'll see employee cars parked as well. So typically there'll be several non-Teslas in the area driven by the repair folks of all types. So we're all the way in the back here. We've got, looks like 35 cars back here. So that adds to the pile that you just saw. So we're at 110 cars in the service area approximately, which is probably 30 to 40 cars higher than we were seeing back here. You can look back on our older shows to get a sense of what numbers were like then. So as I said, now this is kind of interesting. What's been happening here is that this is one of the storage areas for vehicles. These are all brand new cars that haven't gone out yet. As you saw, there were several Model Ys in the back row there. I was trying to, you'll notice that we do drive-bys, we don't stop, because we tend to get shooed away by the folks who run the facilities, and we don't want to cause trouble and not be invited on the next occasion or shooed off. This is the other storage facility here. As you can see, it is kind of light on inventory. I only see probably half full back there. You know, several Model Ys, mostly Model 3s in that space. So we're kind of pulling up on the sort of right rear of the building at this point. We're on the brand new vehicle side of the party right now. And as you can see, there are people sort of standing around, either taking delivery. This is the one last storage facility here. Wow. Wow, interesting. So Um, yeah. You too. Thanks, man. Um, so we're seeing. This is one of the things I found interesting is that almost every Model Y we've seen has been white, and so it's really nice to see a performance black there.
And then we'll have to take the car home today since it didn't pass our inspection.
Cool. Interesting. So this is what's in front. Most of these cars in front are all the test vehicles in the fleet. Yeah. Wow. So this is kind of the front of the facility that you're looking at here. And as you can see, we got the cars in the service bay, kind of full up, etc. Interesting. So we have kind of the end of our tour here. So that gives you a feel for what's going on at our service facility today. I would say my take on things is action is buzzing. As you could see today, a lot of in and out of the driving space. I'm thinking of backing up here so that so the random traffic that's within the service facility, you can see it through the back window as I'm talking. And suppose that's not going real well because we can't get perspective on the front of the store. What I was kind of looking for here is to try to figure out, almost like how many cars are selling an hour type of deal. And we're really not well positioned for that. So I'm kind of, let me see if I can get any this position just a little bit better here. So we can at least pick up some of the Tesla traffic coming in and out. Right, so here we are, back at the service facility once again. My assessment of things, I was kind of surprised on this round. They actually had the lights on in the storage for one of the 3 storage facilities back there, as you saw. There are several rules of engagement here to avoid them getting fired or them getting mad at us. One of them is you could be a random person that's just driving by, which is a good thing. We also have the fact that anybody talking to us could get fired, so we don't want to get the good folks working hard here for low pay fired. Not a good deal. And so, but we did want to get a chance to look through what was going on. From what I could see, number one, data points, is the 125-ish cars in service right now, and that did not include the cars that are inside the buildings. So we're probably in the 140 range of cars on site, is about a 20 to 30% increase. We're usually about 80, 85 cars that are outside the building, not counting inside service facilities. So right now we're in that 120, 130 range. That's a lot more repair work, including the Model 3 is the number 1 vehicle you saw as we drove by that's sitting in the service space right now. The next item is that sometimes when you come in, newly delivered cars would still have the packing materials on the bumpers and so forth to protect the car after it got off of the truck. Like there are no cars in that condition because they're all ready to sell, ready to move ASAP. We saw, I think, 3 families taking delivery just now. As you saw, there's a Porsche Taycan or a Porsche SUV that just went by there. One of the owners that have come in to take a look at Teslas. A lot of Porsche folks giving up and go over to Teslas. The next thing is, like, what does inventory look like, and is it high, low, medium? I would say that our data is kind of shaky, and the reason is that previously what's been happening is the building you see behind me in Tyson's Corner Tesla used to occupy about half the building. So parking cars and wise and so forth only used to be in the front of the building next to the service facility. Over the last year, we've had a big switch to the point where with COVID, based on parking, it looks like Tesla's taken over the whole building. But the reality is I believe there's a workout gym there and one other business that's surviving, but I fully expect that Tesla will take over this building over the next year. So we'll update you on that. The next thing that's popping up here is that, like, what are the numbers? So you saw inside the building there, we're not at 100% capacity in all the storage facilities. I would say we have 3 storage facilities. We're looking at somewhere in the range of 60 to 70% capacity. So what that is that we're seeing perhaps, let's call it 60, 50, and 65 cars in those bays. Number 1 being white Model 3s, probably number 2 being black Model 3s, particularly because I just found out from one of our GM friends, the top 2 selling colors are white and black. I've seen very few of the Model Ys in black, most of them in white. I think the paint, there's no markup on the paint there, so that might be affecting people's choices on that purchase. The next thing we wanted to cover is, what's the gut feel on this whole thing? As in, what do the numbers we're seeing here tell us about how the quarter is going to turn out? And the answer is, from what I can tell, or I've heard from other people from this facility, I've heard that as many as 100 cars a day will be sold towards the end of the quarter. And when you look at the inventory, if there's no more coming in, if Tesla does push that number today, Saturday, into tomorrow, Sunday, this place could be bone dry by the 1st, which is Wednesday. So I was hoping not to do it, but I think we might necessitate going back through this place again, the final day of the quarter, which would be Tuesday, and then you guys can get a contrast between what you saw in this runaround and what you saw in the other. One of the other things that we've been trying to collect, and we always try to ask for sort of data input from our viewers, is like, what have your experiences been with the car, common repair issues that you've been having? We can start creating a log so that a lot of folks that purchase will be able to anticipate repair issues that they might want to consider, and this might be something else to consider as well. The final thing I wanted to cover today is as you know, I'm in a 2012 Nissan Maxima right now. I wanted to review something that I just did to my car, which is I dropped from 19-inch rims and tires down to 18-inch rims and tires. And the main reason I did it is when I called Tire Rack to get a quote on prices, the tires at 18 inches were basically half the price of the 19 inches. And so even though I had to change out the rims, it was good. So there was a suggestion that you could go 1 inch short, narrow tires. I didn't know if that would be on a 19-inch rim, but I basically changed to 18-inch rims, 18-inch tires. Have been happy with it. Felt like the braking changed up just a little bit, but if you head into the winter versus summer might want a wider tire. If you have snow, you might want a higher sidewall so that it has better properties in snow and ice and maybe a little bit better clearance theoretically. So this might be something to consider if you want to save some money on tires as you go over time. It might be a consideration to sort of, test out, ask your mechanic about, etc. Any rate, you saw what was going on here. We have some deliveries going on. It seems like they're moving at a pace of, 1 or 2 or 3 cars an hour. It's an 8-hour day, so we're thinking 30 to 40 cars a day over this weekend is the neighborhood we're in. And it looks like that'll deplete us on inventory here by Tuesday, the end of the quarter, based on the fact that it's only Saturday now. And the pace that we're kind of feeling is 1 or 2 cars an hour. Maybe it's 3 or 4. As you can see, that picks up. If you have inventory in that 200 car range, you can eat this inventory pretty quickly, given what that looks like. I would suppose that the only challenge I see going on here is that it feels to me that we have a fixed number of repair people because there are a fixed number of repair bays. And because of that, the backup cars here right now could be hard to get through quickly. And so it's going to be interesting to see how they increase the force of repair people to go with the increased number of vehicles being repaired. So I think I'm just going to stick out there so you guys can get a final glance in the rain as we exit. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. Look forward to your comments on this inventory or channel check at the end of the quarter. Have a great day. Thanks and bye for now. Tschüss, German, au revoir, French, lehitro, Hebrew, chota hafez, Farsi, hey do, Swedish, zdravstvuyte, hello in Russian, ni hao ma, hello in Chinese. Thanks once again for joining us. Have a great day and bye for now.